stop everything you're doing. Go get your snacks, get your popcorn, get your Nutri-Grain bars, get a 42-ounce jug of soda. I don't know. Go get your stuff. Get in here. We've got stuff to talk about. Hey, welcome back to Kids Typing, where we talk about K-dramas, K-pop, and K-media in general, and I watch the dramas so you don't have to. We are currently talking about Castaway Diva, and we've reached the end. I looked at the episode count, saw that there were only so many episodes left, and I was like, you know what? Let's just wrap it up in this video. You're here for the recap, so let's get into it. So, Castaway Diva, I finally finished it, and it was a journey. The last few episodes just threw down the craziest plots. And I'm talking emotional meltdowns, villain nonsense, secret identities, betrayals, and of course, a love triangle. Now that I finished it, all I can think is, what did I just watch? I have thoughts. Let's go. All right, speed round. Mocha finally catches on that Bogle is actually Jung Ki-ho, the same boy she's been searching for her whole life. Her jaw on the floor, my jaw fully closed. But thankful that we finally gotten to the point. Let's forget that she was suspicious of the family the entire time. So far, we have a reunion, a love triangle, and a potential mess. Unimportant CEO goes to war. Okay, maybe that's too dramatic. But he was causing a ruckus about the live performance rules imposed on Umire. So much so that Ranju herself was even questioning if she should get up on stage. But truthfully, I think she cares more about her spotlight being snatched away by Mocha. She literally accuses Mocha of being another Umire. And remember, Mocha is the girl who's been singing for her, like letting her be Ursula. And even though that's not true, she can't stop her shine to appease you. Now, obviously, the winner of the competition is Mocha. After her big win, Mocha goes to meet abusive dad. Why, I don't know. Mocha just angers me sometimes to no end. And he runs her out of town, and that causes a rift between her and Ranju. All right, episode 8. Bogle reveals more about his past and how he was able to escape abusive dad. This episode causes the brothers to have to face their family secrets, and Mocha returns back home after running away to find Ranju gone. But since Ranju ran away, we finally find out who the old lady is. And surprise, surprise, and it's Ranju's mom. Like, I did not see that coming at all. I didn't know. I really thought this was like a flash forward happening at the same time that the story was going. I didn't know what to make of it, okay? But the old lady is Ranju's mom. And we also see in this episode Bogle going off script, okay? He shows up to abusive dad's house, and that's how episode 8 ends. Now, episode 9. I couldn't be left on a cliffhanger, so I watched it immediately. After going off script, Bogle goes to abusive dad's house and he gets worked. I'm talking wop, 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 wop. That'll mess him up. Work. And I'm just thinking, I know you didn't go to this man's house just to get worked. Like, you have to be gathering like some type of evidence. And lo and behold, he was, gathering evidence, thankfully. While all of that is happening, we do finally learn what happened to Mocha's dad, who was the original abusive dad. And apparently he passed away after diving off the ship after Mocha, and he washed up on an island. And then Mocha tries to get Ranju to come back home, and Ranju burns every bridge in existence. Scandal starts to spread, and media scrutiny ramps up because of the singing scam between Ranju and Mocha does the adult thing, and she steps up and she takes accountability. But also in these episodes, the brothers come under fire for quote unquote stealing identity, when in reality they were just trying to escape crazy pants. Okay, lightning fast round. That's what happened in that episode. I'm just gonna combine 10, 11, and 12 because I will yap forever. So biggest things that happen is there's an exchange between abusive dad, who I don't know if I've said his name once this entire time. His name is Bongwan, by the way. He reaches out to an old colleague and he tells him that a family is guilty of identity theft. Lo and behold, of course, it's his family. He's trying to get them in trouble because he's a jerk. We do see our love triangle resolve itself and a cute little kiss happens, but we'll talk about that in a second. And then the season wraps with Mocha's debut, the results of legal issues caused by abusive dad, and his ending. What happens to him at the end? Okay, hopefully all of that made sense. I really only wanted to touch on the major plot points because I wanted to talk about the juice, the good stuff, the tea, the gossip, I don't even know what else to call it. I wanted to talk about that stuff. So let's quickly get into that. First up, Bongwan, abusive dad. Let's talk about him. That man makes sure every moment feels like a masterclass in villainy. Like real talk, on a scale of 1 to 10, how evil do y'all think he is? In these episodes, he's on a full villain arc. He's gaslighting, manipulating, and trying to ruin lives like it's his full-time job. That's what makes it so crazy, because he's actually good at it. I have not seen a villain written, I don't want to say well, but written so thoroughly in a while. And because he played his part so well in this story, every time they tried to expose this man, it wouldn't work. Like, they kept taking L after L. Woo-Hawk tried to expose him with a dashboard film of him putting the Hornets in old friend's car. Boba went and got his butt whooped to no avail because that led nowhere. Like, just L after L after L. This whole cast was taken. This man has more plot armor than the main characters. Since he's our big baddie, let's talk about all his schemes. After 15 years of obsessing about the family that literally ran away from him, not only does he try to run Mocha out of town, he tries to set them up for identity theft. He then goes on to show up at the salon and continue his cycle of abuse. And when he's caught, he tries to weasel his way out of it, saying that it wasn't right that his family had run away and become scammers, and that Mocha was in on it. Apparently, the wildest part about this to me is that after showing up and putting his hands on people, this man was not detained. Like, they let him go. Also get a scene where they go to like an informal court hearing because his identity fraud plan does gain some traction. He tries to manipulate an official and play victim. Luckily, the prosecutor sees through his BS and calls him on it. The prosecutor also received testimony from the old school friend literally moments after he woke up from a coma. And I just thought, finally, his cake is being iced. But I couldn't celebrate for too long because they still did not detain this man. And while he was not detained and he was still in these streets being a menace, this man used a pointy object to get revenge on the dad that stepped up. When I said the show was wild, I meant that. All right, now to wrap this up. After all of abusive dad's schemes failed, man goes on to commit suicide, and his downfall just felt too easy. Like, after all the stress this man caused, that was it. Like, I wanted suffering, I wanted humiliation, I wanted him to lose everything. I wanted him to be in the streets while they threw fruit at him and yelled shame. They let him off way too easy. And so I'm not happy with his ending. While all of that's happening, Mocha's out here taking L as well. She's fighting online hate, not only for the singing mess with Ranju, but also for being tied up and trying to protect Bogo's family. She's dealing with Ranju rejecting her and basically being shelved because she decided to sign up with R&J Records. Stupidly. Why you would do that? Why you would go and try to sing for literally unimportant CEO when he's been nothing but a hurdle? I digress. I will rant about this for 20 minutes. Okay. Rant aside, Mocha does what she does. She continues to be Mocha and she pushes forward, and that's the reason why we root for her. Okay, that's the main mess. Let's just quickly, and I mean quickly, touch on the romance in here. It was a little underdeveloped for my taste, but you know, let's talk about it for a second. Okay, Mocha seemed to be oblivious to the fact that both brothers had feelings. Like, she didn't realize she was basically a K-pop fan pulling photo card and getting her bias every time. We have Bogle. I guess there's no better way to describe him than Mr. Ride or Die, I will burn the world to watch you smile. Literally the whole time, I just wanted to be like, say you love her, you fucking coward. Say it and do it now. And then we have Woohawk. Welcome to the second lead club, bro. Now, Woohawk was really more like golden retriever energy. He was the reliable bestie who secretly had a crush but didn't want to get in the way of what she was doing with her life. And also, it's his brother, so what could he really do? They had a history, but he's literally the best. He gets Best Boy Award for sure. This man deserves the world. Even when things got messy, he never stopped being by Mocha's side. And Mocha, like I said, just clueless. She don't. Mocha had too much going on. Now for the romance, it did feel a little rushed to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. They had very little chemistry. Very little. I feel like there was more chemistry between her and Woohawk, but maybe that's just me projecting because I would have chose Woohawk. There isn't much build up at all. It's kind of like, oh my gosh, you're Jiho, boom. We're kissing and we're in a relationship. And that's kind of it after, you know, their little bit of tension. Although Mocha chose Bogle, who would you choose? Like, I don't know. I feel like I would be choosing Woohawk. Like, he kind of, you know, cute. You know what I'm saying? Like, I probably would have chose Woohawk. I'm not going to lie. Let me know. Who would you choose? Some side characters just completely disappear from this series. Unimportant CEO's lackey. Gave him a little bit of character development. You know, we see that at the end of it, he asked to switch to Mocha's team instead of Unmire's team. And he's saying like, oh, I've taken the easy road my entire life. It's time for a challenge. So I guess he has a little bit of a redemption arc, but whatever. Like I said, unimportant CEO's lackey. As for unimportant CEO, actually, I'm going to pair unimportant CEO and Ranju's ending together because it's essentially the same ending. Very quickly, Ranju's mom had some type of like proof that Ranju had sold so many albums that pushed her over the 20 million limit, but it turns out that Ranju's mom, for whatever reason, I didn't get from Ranju until she passed. And when Ranju confronted unimportant CEO, he was like, I'm the one who pieced it together and gave it to your mom. I was never out to hurt you. I've always tried to protect the company and protect you. That was only my ever end goal. I'm not buying his BS, but Ranju does. So they hop back in a boat together and sail off into the sun. I guess that's their character redemption arcs, but both of them at this point are unimportant. Both of them are on my shit list. They're not important to me. For the modern characters, the mom and dad, they do get cleared. The dad does recover from his poke time in the hospital, and they go on to get married, thankfully. And old school friend and his wife, I'm going to assume that he recovered as well and they're living fine. They just kind of faded into obscurity with the rest of the minor cast. Like, we didn't get a whole lot of details, but enough to like tie everything up in a bow. So there's that. We don't get a lot of closure on Mocha's parents. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember anything being mentioned about Mocha's mom at all. We don't see how, you know, seeing her dad's body washed up on shore actually affects her. They just kind of let that plot go. We also don't really get a whole lot of anything for Unmire. There really isn't much else about her. She doesn't get a whole lot of character redemption either, but I guess there was just no time for it in this, you know. It's not like we got a full 16 episodes, which actually Netflix and Mr. Writer, we need to talk about that. Why didn't they get a full 16 episodes? I personally would have loved to see some more development at the end, especially since we only got 12 episodes, like her ending for abusive dad. That involved actual punishment. I would have liked to see more of a development of Mocha's relationship with Bogle, period. And I would have liked to see more of Mocha's journey to stardom. Now, I need to hear from you. Did the finale satisfy you? Was Ranju out of line when she talked to Mocha like that? And who is the better love interest, Vogel or Woohawk? Drop your takes in the comments. Let's argue respectfully, of course. And if you love this recap, go ahead, hit like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications because we are not done dissecting K-dramas. I don't know what's going to be next, but I'll see you in the next one. Bye.